Hi Virgo, happy birthday. The sun is in your sign until the 22nd, and here is a general look at your solar chart for September 2011. Well, because the sun's in your sign now, that means that personal interests will be highlighted, and it's generally a time for you to have a review of how well you've danced the dance of life over the previous 12 months, but also maybe getting on more with what interests you personally, and perhaps getting more involved with groups or group gatherings or with friends. Or maybe it's simply getting on with something that's been on the back burner for a long time and making progress and really feeling as though you're making progress with that at last. So relationships of all kinds are very favourably highlighted, particularly until mid-month. And you know, you're feeling warm and sociable, and others see you as attractive, really, and just, you know, you could get your credit rating boosted, your love life expanded, along with, you know, your friendships and your social circle as well. It's a very good time for you to negotiate a good deal in some way for yourself, have a makeover, do some retail therapy, generally do things which make you feel better in your skin. It'd be a good time for that with Venus in your sign and turning this face to the world, which others see as I say, you know, attractive or even charismatic, and very welcoming and friendly, and you being able to maybe twist others around your little finger, because you can be very persuasive at this time. Your people skills, your communication skills on a little bit of a roll there. Another way this can work is that you could be feeling somewhat self-indulgent, and this is definitely your month, and so was a little bit of last month as well. And so you want to get into activities or make purchases which boost your morale, help you feel good, or maybe get on with something. It might work in another sort of a way. Get on with something that on the face of it may be a little bit uncomfortable, but you know it's going to do you good in the long run. And really feeling a lot of support around you, though. That's the main thing with having Venus in your sign. And even when it moves out of your sign on the 14th, it still is in an area where you could be physically supported by others. So after the introspection of the first week, because Mercury is kind of turning your attention inwards or towards what's going on behind the scenes, maybe you playing a supportive role, maybe you having concerns there which are private. After that, from the 8th, you could be just flitting about more, really, and also you could be more forward in expressing your opinions, and you're getting things off your chest, you know, getting your feelings across to others, and that will be because you'll be feeling more decisive from the 8th onwards, I think. Also, it's a good time to land yourself a bargain, negotiate, buy, sell, consider your position financially, even though you've got this very long, slow transit of Saturn in that area of material security and also physical well-being. This rapid transit of Venus going through there can mean that you do quite well, and something, you know, that gets your attention comes up to do with a space, cash flow, you know, a makeover, your appearance, doing something nice for yourself, just generally a market, resources, buying, selling, health, exercise. So it's very physical, material, good time for therapies, including retail therapy. And because you're more likely to land yourself a bargain, as I say, and get yourself a good deal at this time related to anything, small property, large property, finances, or some other kind of businessy kind of a deal. The group dynamic is going to be pretty strong, and activities with others are highlighted very strongly until the 18th. It has a real progressive feel to it. Physical energy will probably be going more into group gatherings or your friendships, and or commitments centered around a group, a club, a society, a committee, online group, or friends, or both. And that means that you'll be kept busy, within or because of friends or a group of others. You could feel overloaded at times, and feel like you've got a lot on your plate to do on behalf of others, feeling a bit stretched because their demand is not going to go away, and you're being maybe supportive. That's particularly from the 18th, actually. That supportive side of working with others is coming out, and that's kind of your thing anyway, isn't it, Virgo? Networking is very strongly emphasized before the 18th, and not what you know, but who you know and what you can do together, pooling your energies for some sort of good cause, common cause, bigger picture, and working with some knowledge which could help the common good. Then from the 18th, just don't spread yourself too thin with the physical demands of daily life, because you need to then know where to draw the line in the sand, look after yourself more from there on, Virgo. Your energy levels could be lower than usual, and you shouldn't really expect too much of yourself until after November the 11th, which is when it turns, and you get Mars coming very strongly into your sign from there. There to stay, I should say, from November 11th for a very long time, many, 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 many months. So you Virgos are going to be really, really busy, but that's not quite yet. So vitality should begin to improve then. So up until then, you really do need to be recharging, because you're going to be on this kind of marathon of this roll of energy, which will, of course, not keep you switched on all the time, because it will be going through the degrees of your sign, and then it will be going backwards and forwards and backwards. But generally, you will have the planet of drive and motivation and push and ambition in your sign for several months from November, but we're not there yet. And so before then, you should be playing this supporting role for yourself, supporting role for others, not be ready to kind of go center stage and go all sort of full out, all singing or dancing. Just being firmer about your boundaries and the space you need for your relaxing, your healing, your private life, whenever possible. And now, every month I speak about the slow-moving planets, and if you want to see what I've written about that, because every month I do a written version of what I'm speaking here on the camera, just go and have a look at that on my website. I'll just do a recap here. Jupiter is going to be expanding your world in many ways, Virgo, until next June. So you could be growing academically, but also your physical horizons may be broadening as well. Could be more travel, more connecting with people from other groups, other territories, other cultures. So that could be through education as well, or just connecting over the wires. You getting into new ventures, you launching wider communications across a wider stage, but also you absorbing, you learning, you being the student yourself, you see. So putting the word out there in a bigger way, but also taking it in a bigger kind of a way. Or maybe it's to do with spirituality, maybe it's to do with listening to the higher, more expanded intelligences and the higher frequencies. So it's definitely a time for you to think big in those communications areas to do with education, travel, any field where you are unfamiliar. You know, it could be academia, it could be physical territory, but just plunge into that, because Jupiter is in its own house in your solar chart, and it works very well. This planet of expansion and abundance works very well from its own house, and it will be there until next June. Now Saturn, you may or may not know, is kind of making you have to wait and be very kind of diligent and disciplined and dogged even in the area of material security, physical well-being, yours or somebody else's, until autumn 2012 in particular. So keep looking to the future, keep chipping away at whatever it is, you know, keep the eye on the ball, work steadily and consistently towards improved conditions on these basic materialistic physical levels, and you will get there. You will get there. And also another way it can work is that you've got to be very persevering, very self-disciplined about your worth, your talent, and what you can do to hone that into a skill which is lucrative for you, and how you can apply talents in ways which make a difference, you know, are effective and help in practical ways, and that can be in any manner of ways, you know. Now Uranus, the planet of change and the awakener, you know, waking us up to new realities. That's been shifting the balance in your close relationship area, and it's now going to be in this sort of subtler close relationship area for several years. It just means that maybe you've got to be more detached regarding the emotional side, the emotional connection, or the soul connection even that you have with someone, or like jointly held monies, resources, jointly controlled resources. Be willing to let go in any of these areas that I've mentioned, because it is about transformation, and at times there can be a sudden letting go because, you know, fate takes a hand, as it were, and a previous relationship or lifestyle or position, attitude of your own can just, you know, just not be relevant anymore because of a sudden situation. And it can be a big deal, or it can be a very small deal and a very sort of gradual deal. It sort of depends, really. But there's usually something that you aren't expecting to happen, which suddenly, you know, happens, and of course you can't predict that. So you Virgos born 23rd to the 28th of August are likely to be feeling the unpredictable action of Uranus mostly this month. Neptune's reversed into Aquarius, where it has been for several years, and it's just gone back into the very edge of Aquarius until February 2012. That's going to encourage more empathy in the service you provide for others, or in the service others are providing for you. A real empathy, a real compassion, either coming to you or from you. It could be related to a health situation, could be related to type of work you're doing and methods you're using. It could provide you with the vision and the imagination in a different sort of a way. And you who are born in the last couple of days of or in the first couple of days actually, of Virgo, could be feeling this energy, but it's not a major energy unless you are born in the... Yes, that's right. I'm trying to use my brain. Yes, in the very, very beginning part. But again, I can never say whether it's major or minor, because it's all to do with the lay of the land of your actual wheel, you see, your individual wheel. And also Pluto, that's another very long, slow-moving planet. You Virgos born August the 21st to the 30th, or with 1 to 7 degrees of Virgo rising, will be feeling this very, very subtle. Pluto is very kind of, it's a subtle underpinning of all your efforts to make changes, to evolve, to be transformed, to live a more creative and personally fulfilling life, a more empowering life for yourself. It's in a fantastic aspect, this planet of evolution, to your sun sign, so that's good news. And from the 22nd, finances, goods, property, or anything which affects your material security or your physical well-being, or it could be somebody else's physical well-being, that's going to be highlighted. And that's it for September. If you know your rising sign, listen to that too. It'll add to or subtract from what I've said here, and also you might try to listen to your moon sign if you know it, and see whether that makes sense to you as well. And I'll see you the next time.